I'm a local resident of the northern end of Kent Street, and adjacent to where I live is the 22 hectares known as Barangaroo. It's not just the concerns of individuals like myself that are worried about what's proposed down here. On the 26th of June 2010, we had some much more respected and well-known Australians than myself express their views.
Thank you for coming to what I regard as being one of the most important meetings, rallies that we are having and likely to have in Sydney for a long time. As many of you will know, I've retired from the Supreme Court, and I've retired after 15 years as President of the National Trust. But I regarded this day and this cause as sufficiently important to come out of retirement and chair this meeting. The original concept was that 50% of this site should be open space for the people of Sydney.
I was a judge in the competition that was conducted 6 years ago. The government has just ignored the winning scheme that was voted in across the political spectrum. Also on that panel was Paul Keating and Chris Johnson. Of the people who was on the panel, they're the only people that are backing the Lend Lease scheme.
I can only say it's an insult to the city. What's being proposed, it's an insult to the people of Sydney, and I think it's an insult to the whole of New South Wales. Not only do we have tall buildings, we have buildings that are double the size of what the Hill Thalys international competition required. Double the size. The terminal has gone, an activity which brings economic life and vitality to the walk along this harbour, that's gone over to White Bay.
Does the cruise ship industry want people to come to the arse end of a garage? Does the local community want them to go there? No. Do the local tourism businesses that already have the infrastructure want them to go there? But who wants them to go there? The development industry. And why are they proposing to do that? Because of the exclusion zone that's required to be around a cruise ship terminal. That exclusion zone means they can't do the kind of mega development they're wanting to do right against the waterfront shoreline.
The people of Sydney want a real voice in the future of this, the last major piece of Sydney Harbour foreshore that has not been developed. Our Lord Mayor, Clover Moore, the queen of protest rallies, who built her career on fighting the excesses of big government, fighting secrecy and secret deals behind closed doors, has jumped into bed with the Labor Party on Barangaroo. And we ask why. She should be here right now speaking to us.
We should be demanding that the government follow that master plan once it's developed, so that us, the people of Sydney, can be confident that Barangaroo, 22 hectares of public land, is developed for the benefit of all of us, not just the narrow interests of one developer.
We know that if we don't defend Sydney Harbour from the monster hotel, if we don't defend the foreshore from the monstering by these mega buildings, that if we don't set the scene for the kind of development that should take place here, the kind of development that does support a growing city, the kind of development that does respect the harbour, the kind of development that helps our economy as a city, that if we don't support that, if respect isn't injected into this process, then it'll be lost for a generation.
Do you see what Lend Lease said when they were first won the contract? Thing that Steve McCann, the CEO and Managing Director of Lend Lease, he knew what he was getting. He said, Barangaroo is one of the most valuable city waterfront opportunities anywhere in the world.
Could you imagine the outrage if Lend Lease wanted to do what they're doing at Barangaroo on the forecourt of the Opera House, or here at Mrs Macquarie's Chair, or just over here at the Botanical Gardens, or at Bondi Beach, or Manly Beach, or Taronga Zoo? So when you consider what's happening down at Barangaroo, should they not be compelled, Lend Lease and the New South Wales Government, should they not be compelled to make something as equally iconic as this? If they could open this 40 years ago, let's make sure whatever happens down at Barangaroo equals or exceeds this. I'm passionate about Sydney and in particular what happens here, as I think all Sydney-siders and all Australians should be, because Sydney isn't just a great Australian city, it has grown into, a true global city. And this is acknowledged as one of the greatest working harbours in the world, probably the greatest. This is right in the middle of it, 22 hectares of it, which the people of Australia own, not Lend Lease, not the New South Wales Government. So I urge you to do your own research, ask your own questions, but please take an interest in what's going on down here, because this is a great opportunity. Please, let's make sure we give it the best opportunity that we possibly can.